Hello again and welcome back to the channel here. I got my 72 Yamaha DT2 that I'm finally getting ready to start on. I've already done an intro video on this bike back when I first got it, before I cleaned it off and everything. But I think I'll go over it again here, just to kind of refresh anybody that's new to the channel. Alright, it's 10:30 at night and we're on our way back from another pick. Got another Yamaha DT250. This one's a 72. Here it is. Got another set of forks and a front wheel with it. It's apparently for this bike, so we'll have to look at that too. But we'll get better pictures in the morning once she's cleaned up. So I've had this sitting in my basement since right after Christmas, before New Year's. I picked it up, and at the time I was working on the 75 DT 250. So I kind of knew I wanted a queue of projects, and after that Yamaha, I did the XL 500, the 81 XL 500S, which is pretty much done. I just have to button up a couple things on it, like the turn signals and stuff on that. But I mean, it's rideable, it's ready to go, as you probably watched in the previous videos. So I went from the Yamaha to the Honda, and now I'm back to another Yamaha for this round. I'm just going to go over a couple things now with you that I know it needs. Fortunately, it doesn't need a whole lot. I'm going to be looking for the rear turn signals, the mounts and everything here. It's got the tail light already, obviously, as you can see, and I think this is for the brake switcher. This brake switch is in pretty bad shape, so I'm going to probably look for one of these. And also a coil. Now, I didn't take the tank off on this yet, but the previous owner did say that he thinks it needs a coil. I know you can't always go by what the previous owner says, but he seemed like a pretty knowledgeable guy and trustworthy too. So I'm gonna at least test for it before I go out there, just to see if that is the case. And if it doesn't work, I'll look for a coil while I'm out there as well. Working my way up front, the front turn signals obviously are missing. So somebody did the conversion here on the front wheel for the 21-inch wheel versus the 19-inch wheel, which is stock on this. So I might look to see if I can find an original front end. I know I've read that the 19-inchers don't ride as well as the 21-inch, but I've always liked the look of the low riding fender, which goes over top of the wheel on the stock setup. And somebody put this. This is also an old school aftermarket piece. These Preston Petty fenders. So I mean, that looks cool with that too. I'm most likely just going to leave it the way it is. But if I can find, if I can get a good deal on an original front end for this with the wheel, I might pull the trigger on it, but we'll see. My plan for it is to, I'm not going to touch the original paint on it, because that is the original paint. But I am going to probably respray the rear fender, because that looks pretty crappy with that surface rust on there. So I'll just kind of scuff this up and do it in the silver again, along with the chain guard. And then I'll try my best to clean up the rims and stuff, which it looks like it's going to be pretty easy to get to, because this isn't as heavy as rust as it was on the 75, and the spokes looks like they're actually will clean up too. A little bit of elbow grease. It's a little heavy on the springs here, but I think it'll turn out pretty nice once I put a little effort into that. Yeah, it looks like I already was cleaning up the one side just to see how far I can get the chrome to come along, and that was just a quick wipe, so I think that'll come out nice. Probably polish up the engine cases and repaint the exhaust, and also go over this chrome too. And the tank is in really good shape. There's like no dents in it. Just a couple scuffs here and there on the paint. So I'm not gonna touch the paint aside from maybe just buffing it, try to get a little more shine out of it. And the front rim's in just as good a shape as the rear, if not better. So, like I said, I'm gonna try to test the coil just to confirm that is the culprit for not having any spark. That way I can look for one out at Mid-Ohio swap meet, possibly. Or I might just buy a new one if I can find one. But we'll see. So, just wanted to go over it again with you guys, just to refresh the memory here on this next upcoming project. It's also the original toolkit is in here as well. Usually these are long gone, but it looks like a bent fork top or fork tube top for the ring, maybe up here. I don't know. That's what it looks like. Yeah, right in here maybe. This one, that's missing it too. Looks like a spacer that might be missing for that, so that's probably supposed to go in there. Hopefully the other one's in here too. What's in here? Yeah, the bag's seen better days. Some of the tools are in here. It's pretty cool. It's still is part of the bike. The seat pan is in really good shape, I remember, yep. Really solid. Very little rust on there. And I think I'm missing a couple bolts here for the airbox. To open that up. This battery actually looked pretty new. So I might try to charge that up. That looks fairly new, and just kind of top off the acid in there. But overall, super solid. I've kind of been itching to get to this one. So I think I'm going to probably, when I'm done, see which one runs better, this one versus the 75, and then decide which one I want to keep. I don't think I can keep both. This one's got low miles too, if that's correct. Came with the key. And this rust here will clean up well with some steel wool too. Got all the controls. So I'm looking forward to getting this one done. I just got to make sure I can continue on with more projects. I got to find a couple next week at Mid-Ohio. So stay tuned for that too. There's going to be some videos. I'll make sure I do a lot of videoing out there as well to keep you guys in the loop on what's going on out there, what kind of possible projects I might be getting. Looking to sell the XL 125 that I got as well. So hopefully that all goes smoothly and I can bring home another project or two and keep this channel going. Started off by getting this tank out of the way. I was looking, it doesn't look like any of the fuel lines are hooked up, so the guy must have just had this off before I bought it. Looks like some wires are exposed, so let's take a peek. Not sure what this is all about here. I could already see the wire for the coil is cut, so that's not going to work. Definitely going to have to find a wiring diagram for this bike too. Not that it looks hacked together or anything, but just so I know where to begin. But the coil is cut here. I can use a lot of electrical tape to hold stuff down. Here, what kind of fasteners these are. I'll figure all that out once I get a look at the manual. I'm gonna open up the air box next, see if we got even an air filter housing in there. Nothing, no air box or no air filter. And we got no air filter. Hopefully he was not running this long like this. So I gotta get an air filter housing, air filter element, coil, and turn signals so far. I think next thing I'll do is take the plug out, get a look at that, probably spray some oil down in the head, just because it's been sitting for a little while. Plug looks brand new. So I'm gonna try hooking up this ground here, which I think is supposed to go up underneath the coil here. And I'm gonna make a wire to connect to here, and with a bullet connection to go into the wiring harness. So see if I can make this one work just for now. Find a bullet connector that's kind of close to the wiring harness size. I'm sorry for the shaky camera. I think this one will work right here. Okay, it looks pretty good. And this other side, I'm just going to use one of those tube connectors that goes over here. I'm going to shave some of the, get some exposed wire on here and just connect it to there, plugging this into the harness, and then hooking that ground wire up here, which was unhooked. And hopefully I get some spark. I guess this is probably the original coil. I don't know if anybody's watching can tell me if they're normally this color, but I'm gonna guess it is. Most of this bike looks like it has not been touched, aside from the turn signals that were ripped off of it, but everything else appears to be stock. But if anybody knows, leave a comment, please. I know my wiring skills isn't very professional. Keep in mind, this is just to test this coil. I might, if this does work, I'm gonna probably end up trying either soldering it or getting a new coil just so I have a fresh one in there. This is just to test it. I'm gonna wire brush the frame where the coil contacts on there just to get a good connection, also for the ground wire. That I'm assuming, without looking at a wiring diagram yet, this goes right in here or on top of the screw. I have to look, but one of the two spots it's going to go here. This was disconnected, so I'm going to clean this up, clean up the contacts on the coil itself, and hopefully I get some luck there. All right, well, I think I'm going to try going into this plug here. It's the only open one. Let's see what happens. Make some room here. Pull this plug out. Give it a couple kicks. See if I get lucky. All right, no luck there. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is peel back the wire on the boot, or take the boot off and peel the wire back, just to get some fresh wire. Screw the boot back on, and then try this plug again. It looks brand new, so I don't think it's the plug, but you never know. Yeah, I'm going to cut some of that back. Okay, I got fresh wire there. Plug this boot back in. You can see how that looks in there. Oh, we'll try it. Give this another try, a couple kicks. See if we get lucky. Doesn't look like it. So I'm also going to try a brand new plug that I got. I know it's not the right kind, but I just want to see if I get any kind of spark with this before I dig deeper. Not looking good. All right, so I'm going to attempt to test the coil with my multimeter here. And according to the workshop manual that I found online, for the primary coil resistance, which is the wire coming off and touching the metal casing, that resistance should be, for the RT, or I'm sorry, the DT2, 0.9 ohms, plus or minus 10%. So hopefully I'm doing this right. .68 consistent. Just try another side here. 6.5. I think that's dead on with what the pretty sure that's exactly what the manual calls for, 6.5 ohms. So it seems to be working okay through the secondary, which is the spark plug wire, but the resistance coming off of here does not seem to be right. Let me try that one more time. I could be doing this entirely wrong, so if somebody watching can tell me, and that they would know if I'm doing this correctly. I'll probably go and make some posts too on some group forums and stuff to see what other guys think. But I got the correct reading doing it the other way from the secondary. So this is the primary again, and I'm only getting 0.07. And let me try it on this side too. 0.08. So it's hovering right around 0.07, 0.08. And the manual says that I should be getting 0.9 on the DT2 for primary resistance. So I'm not seeing that on the primary coil resistance value. Secondary seems okay because I'm getting 6.5 dead on, but not out the primary. I think next I'm going to try to get a look at the points under the flywheel. I noticed that these screws were loose, so somebody was in here looking at that probably already beforehand. So, you know, every one of these screws were loose. So I'm gonna pull this off, take a peek, and see if I can get a look at the points under the flywheel. Hard to see compared to the 75 had bigger openings on the flywheel. I was able to kind of see the points opening and closing in there. This one's a little smaller. I might have to actually pull the flywheel off. Let's see, this looks loose. Came to find out that the nut on the flywheel was actually loose. So previous owner was definitely in here, just kind of left all this stuff loose. So I'm going to pull this off, and I might still have to use the flywheel puller, but get that washer off of there. Wow, that came off nice and easy. This was definitely off of here. They were checking all this stuff. A little crusty looking. So I might as well start by just cleaning up these points a little bit. Just got a piece of emery cloth. And just gonna gently pry that apart, put that in the middle, and kind of go back and forth on there. So I was able to borrow a slightly better quality multimeter from my neighbor versus the cheap Harbor Freight one that I had. It was just giving me all kind of different random numbers. So I figured I'd try this one. And I set this one to 200 for the ohms readings. And I'm going to try it again with the black cable coming off of the stator, black wire. So I'm going to put this one in here. And then I'm going to touch the bare bolt again on the frame to ground it out. And this is with the points closed. I'm getting 1.7, 1.6. This meter doesn't jump all around like the other one, so I'm thinking this one's a little more accurate. So 1.6, I was told between around 1 and 2 should be what I'm seeing with the points open. So when I open the points, I get the same number. So let me wedge a piece of cardboard or something in between the points to simulate them being open and get another reading here to see if it's changed at all, which it didn't the first time. I'm going to do it again here. Okay, points are open. I'm going to go back into the black wire. I'm going to touch the ground again. And I'm getting the exact same reading. So I guess it's possible that the points are messed up. I don't know if the condenser, if that would test the condenser doing that, and if that comes into play with this kind of test. But I'm going to take the points off, just make sure everything's cleaned up. I mean, I did clean the contacts here with some sandpaper, just lightly. Took the glazing off of there. So I guess I'll take them off and just kind of make sure that everything else is clean that I can get cleaned on it. So I have a suspicion that the points and or condenser might be the culprit here. A lot of corrosion on that pivot point where the insulator would be. So I'm wondering if it's kind of making contact there, build up, if it wore away, and that's why it's not acting like it's opened or closed, you know, whenever I'm doing the testing. So I'm going to pull this off and just to see if I can hook up any kind of tester to it and see if I can confirm that. I'm just wondering if enough corrosion got in here that it's actually grounding out before it gets a chance to even send that spark. Just from the amount of corrosion that was on there, I wonder if that's the case. So I might have found part of the issue, maybe the entire issue. So looking at this closer, it had a lot of corrosion on the inside here on the pivot. And I was reading online somewhere that if that builds up enough, that could actually ground or connect or whatever you want to call it to the arm. So I took it apart and cleaned it off real good, got as much corrosion as I could out, did some more sanding on it. And when I first took it off, I tried to do I just did a continuity test from this piece to the mounting bracket, I guess you can call it, from this piece to the mounting bracket. And regardless if I had the points open or closed, it was still giving me some readings of continuity. So cleaned it off, put it back together. Now when I hit this part, it's kind of hard to do with these probes, but if I have one here and then one on the try to do it like right where the wire would be connected for the condenser. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus. See, I have continuity there. Came up for a second. Kind of hard to do. Okay, you see how it has continuity. So that's with it closed, which is normal. Then if I do it with it open, I'm just gonna put something in between the contacts here just to simulate it being open. And I will put a probe on the nut here where it would be mounted normally, or where the wire would be mounted normally, and then onto the mount itself. Man, this is tough to do. I get continuity. So I'm going to put this back together, and just to see if that was possibly the issue the entire time. So I'm going to clean up every mount point everywhere where there's metal touching metal, just to make sure I have a good clean connection there. So I'm like right in here. I don't know if I need to. I'm sure for ground. I'm going to clean that up. Clean up this here, just everywhere, and just to make sure I got good, solid, clean connections. Okay, points are closed. I got the one probe on the condenser side, and the other I'm going to check on the ground side. See if we get any continuity. Okay, we got continuity. That's good. So I'm going to simulate the points opened. Okay. Probe on the same point here. I'm going to check the probe on the ground side of the points. And no continuity, so that's correct. That's me touching the point side, and it's touching the ground side, so there's still no continuity. Perfect. I'm going to throw it back together and see if I get lucky. All right, so I got the flywheel back on, just kind of snugged it down just to put it on for testing purposes, and not cranking anything down yet. So I might have to take it back apart. Got the plug ready to go here. I'm gonna ground that out. Get a good view of this for you. Got the coil hooked up, plug in, grounded. Let's see what happens here. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. So weak. We got good spark. We got good spark. All right. So that's in the. Sweet. All right, so I think that's where I'm going to leave off for this video. Just getting to that point where I know it'll spark is a huge weight off my shoulders, so it gives me good motivation for picking up on it once I get back from Vintage Days next weekend. So I'm going to make a list of parts I know I'll need for this bike and for some of my other bikes, because the swap meet is just unbelievably huge out there. I don't know if anybody watching's been out there. I'm sure some of you have. If you haven't, make sure you stay tuned for, I'll put some videos up while I'm out there, just kind of putting stuff up on the fly. So nothing will be really edited, but at least you'll get a taste of what it's all about, because it's the most amazing bike show I've ever been to. Last year was my first year, and I went out with my brother, and we were just blown away by how awesome it was. So made sure we're going out again this year. So yeah, just if you're not a subscriber, just hit that subscribe button for me, please. And it goes a long way in helping my channel, growing it, trying to grow it. And hit that alert button too, so you'll see those videos pop up next week while we're out there. All right, well, that'll do it, and we will see you next week while we're out in Mid-Ohio. And until then, thanks for watching.